Oops. Hey. So I'm back. Sorry, y'all. We'll wait and see if anybody gets on here. Y'all let me know if you can see me. Let me know. Let me know. Let me know. Let's see. I am going to pull up an appeal and see if we can. There we are. I'm sorry. We're going to pull up this appeal that I've got that we can read. Let's see. All right. This is the appeal that let's see if you can see it. This is for the Browning case. If anybody wants to read it with me, it is the Commonwealth of Kentucky Court of Appeals, Harlan County, Steve Duff in his official capacity as Harlan County Sheriff, and Roger Dean Hall in his official capacity as Harlan County Deputy Sheriff. Those were the appellants. The appeal from Harlan Circuit Court v. Honorable Roderick Messer, Senior Judge. All right, let's get down here. This was an opinion affirming in part, reversing in part, and remanding. Hello. We got cut off on our last one. I don't know what I did, but I must have done something they didn't like. Okay. So Taylor Judge, Harlan County, Steve Duff in his official capacity as Harlan County Sheriff, and Roger Dean Hall in his official capacity as Harlan County Deputy Sheriff, collectively referred to as appellants, bring this interlocutory appeal from a December 21st, 2011 summary judgment of the Harlan Circuit Court, holding that appellants were not shielded by sovereign immunity. We affirm in part, reverse in part, and remand. Paul Browning Jr., who served as sheriff of Harlan County in the early 1980s, was murked in Harlan County in March 2002. Some 3 years later, it was discovered that former Harlan County Deputy Sheriff Roger Hall had conspired in Browning's murk. At the time of this unaliving, Browning was a candidate for the office of sheriff in Harlan County, running against then Sheriff Steve Duff. Eventually, Hall pleaded guilty to the criminal offense of facilitation to commit unaliving. Consequently, appellees filed this civil action in 2010 against Harlan County Steve S. Duff individually and in his official capacity as Harlan County Sheriff, and Roger Dean Hall individually and in his official capacity as Harlan County Deputy Sheriff. In the complaint, appellees alleged that Sheriff Duff was negligent or grossly negligent in his hiring, training, and supervision of Deputy Sheriff Hall, and that said negligence caused the wrongful death of Browning. Additionally, it was claimed that Sheriff Duff wantonly, recklessly, or intentionally planned and directed Deputy Sheriff Hall to cause the wrongful death of Browning. And that deputy, Sheriff Hall, wantonly, recklessly, or intentionally planned, directed, and caused Browning's wrongful demise. Appellants answered and moved for summary judgment. Appellants alleged that sovereign immunity barred appellants' tort action against Sheriff Duff and Deputy Sheriff Hall in their respective official capacities. Let's see. By summary judgment entered December 21st, 2011, the Circuit Court concluded that Kentucky revised statutes waived any sovereign immunity enjoyed by the sheriff and his deputy in their official capacities. So that's a good thing. They didn't get any. We can see you, Miss Elizabeth. Crash and burn, burn. Yeah. Well, I had those 3 videos. Uh, they were right in a row, and I don't know if I didn't mean for them just to play one right after the other, and that might have been what they got mad at me about, because it just kept it kind of they went on together, and I thought, well, okay, we'll just watch them and then talk about them. But I guess that might have triggered something when it went through like that. They were so fast. They were only like 2 or 3 minutes a piece. So sorry, y'all. All right. As a consequence, the Circuit Court concluded that sovereign immunity was waived and denied summary judgment. This appeal follows. Let's see. Appellants contend that the Circuit Court erred by rendering summary judgment determining that the sheriff and deputy sheriff in their official capacities were not entitled to sovereign immunity. Appellants believe that Sheriff Duff and Deputy Sheriff Hall are protected by sovereign immunity when sued in their respective official capacities. Appellants maintain that summary judgment should have been rendered dismissing Sheriff Duff and Deputy Sheriff Hall in their official capacities because no material issues of fact were presented upon the issue of sovereign immunity. In Kentucky, the office of sheriff is a constitutional office and is elected from each county. And then it gives the Constitution, I guess. The sheriff is recognized as the chief law enforcement officer of the county. And then it's got some numbers. The office of the sheriff receives most of its funding from the county and its residents. Accordingly, a sheriff is a county official, and absent a waiver thereof, is cloaked with sovereign immunity when sued in his official capacity. Holding, and then it's got Claims v. Harris, holding that a jailer sued in his official capacity is cloaked with the county's sovereign immunity. Hence, a sheriff is entitled to sovereign immunity when sued in his official capacity. With this fundamental background, we note that summary judgment is proper when there exists no material issue of fact, and movant is entitled to judgment as a matter of law. Kentucky Rules of Civil Procedure. It's got case there. Here, the issue of whether Sheriff Duff and Deputy Sheriff Hall are entitled to the protection of sovereign immunity is a question of law. And then it gives another case. In the complaint, appellates claimed that both Sheriff Duff and Deputy Hall acted negligently, grossly negligently, wantonly, recklessly, and or intentionally in causing the wrongful demise of Browning. In response, both Sheriff Duff and Deputy Sheriff Hall in their official capacity, sought dismissal of the above claims upon the basis of sovereign immunity. However, the circuit court declined to afford Sheriff Duff and Sheriff Hall sovereign immunity and relied upon the statute. And this KRS reads 770.040. The sheriff shall be liable for the acts or omissions of his deputies, except that the office of sheriff, and not the individual holder thereof, shall be liable under this section. When a deputy sheriff omits to act or acts in such a way as to render his principal responsible, and the latter discharges such responsibility, the deputy shall be liable to the principal for all damages and costs which are caused by the deputy's act or omission. Let's see. And then the statute KRS 70.040 has been interpreted as imposing liability on the sheriff in his official capacity for acts committed by his deputies. And then it gives another case. Hence, KRS 70.040 constitutes a legislative waiver of the sovereign immunity traditionally enjoyed by a sheriff at common law. As a result, a sheriff in his official capacity is liable for the acts or omissions of his deputies. Okay. In this case, Sheriff Duff, in his official capacity, is not shielded by sovereign immunity for claims arising from the alleged wrongful acts of Deputy Sheriff Hall. What I'm wondering is, you see how this is all talking about the sheriff being liable for your deputy. Well, like with Mickey, what's been going on with Mickey Steins and his deputy, Ben Fields, they're both sued in a federal lawsuit. And Sheriff Steins was being held responsible for what Ben Fields did, the deputy. So this is kind of really similar, that Sheriff Duff was being held responsible, or was being sued for what Roger Hall, his deputy, did. Let's see. Let me get back over here to it. I just wanted to jump back on here after the last one kind of killed out. They kicked us off. That was my bad. I'm sorry. I feel bad now. The General Assembly has plainly waived the sovereign immunity traditionally enjoyed by a county sheriff. Okay. Let me go back, just go down here to the end and see if anybody wants to go look at it. I put it in the thing, in the description. But this will just be a minute. Let's see. We agree with appellants. All right. Lastly, appellants argue that Harlan County should be dismissed as a party. In particularly, appellants contend that sovereign immunity is not waived. Deputy Sheriff Hall's acts were intentional, motivated by reasons personal to Mr. Hall, and were not acts undertaken or committed within the course and scope of his duties as a Harlan County Sheriff's deputy. The issue of whether Deputy Sheriff Hall's acts were committed within the course and scope of his duties as deputy sheriff is simply irrelevant to the application of sovereign immunity, as previously discussed, and otherwise not before the court in this appeal. Lastly, appellants argue that Harlan County should be dismissed as a party. In particular, appellants contend the appellee's complaint does not articulate a demonstrable claim against Harlan County. Presumably, Harlan County was joined as an appellant on the basis of possible vicarious liability for the alleged acts of the individual appellants. It is well settled, however, that county governments cannot be held liable for the negligent acts of its employees. Okay, we agree with appellants that the complaint fails to set forth a justiciable claim against Harlan County. As noted, the office of sheriff is an independent constitutional office that serves as a county official, but is elected by the voters in each county. And like the county judge executive, a sheriff is required to post a performance bond before assuming office. And then it gives a bunch more numbers. Additionally, an action against the sheriff and his deputies in their official capacity is essentially an action against the county. Absent a waiver, the county is protected by immunity for any claim against the sheriff arising under KRS. And then it gives that number. It is well recognized that a county is viewed as a political subdivision of this Commonwealth and as such is cloaked with sovereign immunity. And then it gives a case. The doctrine of sovereign immunity precludes maintaining any negligence action against the Commonwealth unless the Commonwealth expressly consents or otherwise waives its immunity. Then it gives the KRS statute again, provides no waiver of claims against a county or its fiscal court for actions of the sheriff's office or its deputies. In sum, we hold that Sheriff Duff, in his official capacity, is entitled to sovereign immunity for his own intentional and unintentional wrongful acts, but not entitled to sovereign immunity for the intentional or unintentional wrongful acts of Deputy Sheriff Hall. Oh, wow. As a result thereof, Deputy Sheriff Hall, in his official capacity, is also not entitled to sovereign immunity. Finally, appellees' claims against Harlan County should be dismissed, and Harlan County should be dismissed as a party to this action. This opinion should not be misconstrued as holding Sheriff Duff in his official capacity liable for the alleged negligence or intentional wrongful acts of Deputy Sheriff Hall. We simply hold that Sheriff Duff, in his official capacity, is not shielded by sovereign immunity, and that appellees' claims against Sheriff Duff in his official capacity may not be summarily dismissed upon sovereign immunity grounds. For the foregoing reasons, the order of the Harlan Circuit Court is affirmed in part, reversed in part, and this case is remanded for proceedings consistent with this opinion. All right. So that was all of it. All right, guys. I was already on here for about an hour before they kicked us off. I'm sorry. I've got a whole bunch more stuff. I don't know how interested everybody is. We had a case in Pike County where a dentist and his son, it was the dentist's son, had unalived a lady, and then allegedly he's been charged, and then the dentist, the dad, allegedly, he's been arrested too. So I wanted to do some of that. I don't know what they kicked me off for, so I'm a little bit nervous about I got to figure out what I did. I think it might have been where the videos played, where it was just like 2 or 3 minutes and I wasn't really paying attention to the ending of it. So I got to figure out what I did wrong, and then I'll figure it out. Yeah, is it Floyd County, the dentist's son? Yeah. Well, I got a whole bunch of stuff on it. I've got a bunch of news articles and stuff. I'm a little bit nervous though about putting anything up because I don't know what they suspended my stream for. So I want to make sure I know what I'm doing before I do that. Before I put that back up. I'm sorry, y'all. But I'm trying. Let's see. Talls, hello, honey. Cheese. Ever. That was in Prestonsburg, babe. Floyd County Justice for Amber. Yeah, if that's what you're talking about. Yes, sir. Yes, 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 ma'am. That's exactly what I'm talking about. But I'm just a little nervous because I don't know what they kicked us off for, or I don't know what they kicked me off for. So we'll see. Do you guys know? Does anybody on here know why they kicked off my stream? Oh, there's truth and transparency. Hi, honey. They kicked me off my last stream while I was showing some videos, so I'm just a little bit nervous. I hate that you jumped on my one video that I didn't have anything really put on here. Anyway, it's getting late, so I'm just gonna go ahead and end this one, and we'll start fresh tomorrow. Or heck, you never know. I might jump on here later tonight. Give me a minute to get my stuff all back together. All right, y'all. Well, thanks for joining tonight. I hate that our video got all messed up, or our live got all messed up there at the end. No, there ain't no time limit. What time do I usually get on? I really don't have a set time yet. I just to give you a little rundown, I'm a single mom and I've got 2 kids, and I worked 6 days a week for the last 3 years, like almost 60 hours a week. And about a month ago, I ended up with some time on my hands. I was temporarily off work for a little bit. And so I had all this time on my hands, and so I decided to get on. Oh, hi, Shannon. I decided to get on here and start my channel and see if, I could chase one of my passions, which is the true crime and the criminal justice system. And so I'm brand new to all this stuff. I don't really know what I'm doing yet, and I'm trying to figure it out. And so I don't have a good time that I go on yet. I'm trying to figure it all out. And I got 3 dogs that are very vocal. Anyway, so but I've got all kinds of stuff. I just hadn't put it all together. I kind of put my stuff together before I go live on each one. So the only stuff I had really, put out was for our Harlan County stuff there. So I'll work on this Justice for Amber stuff, and we'll get on tomorrow. It's Sunday, so I don't know, maybe in the late afternoon, early evening, and it seems to be a good time for everybody on lives. So, all right, y'all. Well, you have a great rest of your evening. Thanks. and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.